Welcome to another episode of Israel at War. I am Phyllis Zimbler Miller, and this is day 151. I have with me a very special pair of guests. Actually, a sad pair of guests, but you will see how we are also building towards hope. I have with me Yehoshua and Shulamit Shani, and they are the parents of 22-year-old IDF Captain Ori Shani, who was killed on October 7th. And they're going to both tell you about him, and they're going to tell you what they're doing with his memory. So I'm going to give them the floor, and I'm only going to ask questions if need be. So go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Ori was born 22 years ago here in Kiryat Arba, Israel. He was the youngest kid in our family. We have, thank God, 7 children. Ori was the youngest. Since Ori was born, he was very special. Everywhere, even in the kindergarten, he was a leader. He was always smiling, always laughing, was very smart, was very curious kid. And he was growing this way everywhere, then in the elementary school, after that in the middle school. I could share a short story showing how leader he was. When Ori was 3rd grade, as every elementary school, they're doing here Purim Carnival. Usually, who runs the carnival is the middle school. Ori came to his teacher and tell him, we want also to organize Purim Carnival for the 1st, 2nd grade. His teacher said, it's booked already, it's the middle school doing that. So Ori said, you know what? Let me organize Pesach Carnival. A 3rd grade kid, he was 10 years old. And his teacher said, you know what, Ori, go for it. And Ori organized his friend, and they organized like a Pesach Carnival. And this elementary school, they have that Pesach Carnival until today, that the 3rd grade boys organizing that Pesach Carnival.
That's a wonderful story. For those of us who, those of my listeners who don't know, a Purim Carnival is traditional. A Pesach Carnival I never heard of. So that's very, very innovative.
It was Ori's idea, and it went so well that since that year, that school doing that every year, running by the 3rd grade children.
So now go ahead.
Yeah, so after that, at the high school, Ori picked in high school that, he was make test of few high schools, and he was accepted to very exclusive high schools. But he asked us to go to a specific high school in Dimona, in the south of the country, because he decided that at that high school, they're emphasizing, to work with the boys about socially, they put emphasis on socially, on the helping the community, like a community high school. And this was Ori. Since he was high school kid, he was always want to give to the other.
And so now can we move ahead to his Army service and to October 7th, and then to the wonderful thing that you're doing to honor his memory?
So after high school, he was he learned in a yeshiva for 2 years, and then he went to the Army, and he wanted to do a very special duty like to be he wanted to be a commander, and that's what he did. He was a commander, and he was 3 years in the army, and then October 7th.
Okay, Julie wants me to tell the story.
I
Okay,
understand this
so
part. But, on October 7th, was he a reservist or he was still in the active duty army?
He was in the active duty army. He
Okay,
was signed for more than 3 years because he was a commander.
yeah, for my audience, it means because in Israel, if you want to be an officer, she's using the word commander, but I'm going to use the word
Yeah.
officer. You serve for more than the 3 years minimum that men serve. Okay,
Yes.
go ahead, Yehoshua.
So Ori came to Ori and his unit. They came to Kisufim base. It's in near Gaza. They came there already in June, and you know, they did like a regular army service every day, patrolling, you know, next to the border. And we were told by his soldiers that Ori trained them in a way that he was really was thinking that something like October 7 will come one day. He trained them very hard. And what happened that October 7th, 4 o'clock in the morning, Ori and his 5 soldiers, they were patrolling on the border. At about 6:30, the rocket starts, and in a few minutes, the Hamas terrorists, they like broke the fence, and the hundreds of Hamas terrorists on motorcycles, on vehicles, start passing the border. Right away, Ori told his soldiers, calm down. We're going to do exactly what we learned when we trained. And they will start fighting, and they killed more than 35 Hamas terrorists. And after like 3 hours fighting, Ori saw that his soldiers like got exhausted and tired. He took them under a tree, and the area still surrounded with Hamas terrorists. He told them, guys, calm down. He took out his cell phone. He told them, it's an order, please smile. And he took a selfie picture with his soldiers. And it was really unbelievable what kind of a leadership he took that moment when they surround with terrorists to take that step. Because we were told by his soldiers that after that, they got like energy and they was keep fighting until 4 p.m. And 4 p.m., they were able to get back to the base. And after Ori told them to refill, you know, the bullets to be ready to go to another fight, after like 20 minutes, it was a rocket fell on the base, and Ori got killed immediately together with one of his soldiers, Re'em Batito, his name.
I'm just pausing for a moment in memory of him and his soldier with him. So let's skip the part about when you got the horrible news, because I don't really think you need to go through that on air. Can you take us to the point where you said his death shouldn't be in vain? What can we do that's really part of his personality to honor and remember him?
So Ori, since he was very, very young, he used to read a lot of books. He used to go a lot to the library in our neighborhood. Summer after summer, he was the first, he got the prize of reading a lot of books one of the first boys that used to read every year, every year. He knew all the books in the library. So we thought we have our oldest son, he lives in Modi'in, and there's a new school there. His two older children learn in this school, and they really don't have a library yet. So we thought it would be so nice to, in memory of Ori, that was so connected to a library, to just build a new library in this new elementary school in Modi'in.
Now, I know that supposedly Ori didn't have specific genres that he liked, but he must have had some genres that he liked more than others.
For sure. He used to, when he got like in a teenager, like, or even after, he used to read a lot of books about the army, about the history of the army, all the wars during the history that used to take place, and all people that used to, very special people that wrote books, but a lot about the army and history of the army. That's what he really liked to read.
I'm going to pause for a moment to say, those of you listening will notice that Shulamit has a very distinct American accent. So I thought she could share where she's from. And then Yehoshua has a very, on his own right, distinct Israeli accent for a reason. So why don't you just tell us a couple of minutes about who you are?
So I was born in America, and my parents made Aliyah. They came to
No, no.
Israel.
Where were you born in America? Your accent.
In Far Rockaway,
Okay.
in Brooklyn. And my parents made Aliyah when I was 4 years old. So the truth is I grew up mostly in Israel, but I could still speak the English with my parents. And we grew up in Jerusalem here.
Yehoshua, your story?
So thank God I had the privilege to be a 10th generation in Israel. My father born in Yerushalayim, Jerusalem. My grandfather, my grand-grandfather, 10th generation back, over like 250 years in this Holy Land. And Baruch Hashem, thank God that I got to meet Shulamit that came from America, and together we're building like the next generation here in Israel.
So does that mean, Yehoshua, you're Sephardic or Ashkenazi or Mizrahi? What are you?
I'm Ashkenaz, originally the family coming from Belarus, back to
returning
Belarus.
to Israel.
Yes.
From the diaspora. And
Right.
Shulamit, I assume that you're Ashkenazi also, is that right?
Yes, yeah.
So it's not what some people call, I'm trying to make a joke to lighten this up a little. It's not a mixed marriage. You're both
No,
Ashkenazi. Okay.
no.
So let's talk about how our listeners can honor the memory of Ori. And also, because I believe so strongly in books. In fact, I've been sending books on the Holocaust to my hometown of Elgin, Illinois. It's a town with very few Jews. And without going into the whole story, after I did some programs about the Holocaust in January 2023, I've been sending a lot of books, especially books for younger readers. And I just have some criteria. I don't send books that require you to know so much. So if you don't know that ahead of time, you won't understand the book, or so little in the book that they don't really give you a good feeling. So I'm a huge fan of supplying, and this is a children's library that you're doing, of supplying young children with books. So how can we help you?
So before I will tell you how you could help us, I would like to show, if it's possible, 2 pictures of Ori.
Absolutely.
This is Ori as a soldier. And this is Ori picture of the day that he got married. I would like to mention that Ori got married. He was young, 21 years old. And he had a baby boy, like that now he's 9 months old, Roy. And his wife, Miriam, also part of the campaign that we're doing now in order to help that elementary school in Modi'in to build the library that we'll name of Ori. So if you could be part of the project and to see the link, I guess, Philly, you could show the link of the
Yes, I'm going to put
campaign.
it in the description of this podcast when I upload it to YouTube. Because it's kind of long for us to say. We can say it here, but it's really too long. So I'll put it in. And you have a choice of different levels. And I was impressed. You could buy a book or a bookshelf. I mean, I thought that was very clever. And
We really believe in the reading and the books. You know, so many children now are always in the internet and all these things, and it's really, really very important for the kids, the elementary school especially, but for everyone, just to take books from the library and read. And we think it's very important to support this whole project.
now, will the books be only in Hebrew? Will they be in Hebrew and English? Have you thought about that yet? I have a dear Jewish friend from Cuba. You know, she's big on Spanish books.
It's going to be also Hebrew and English as well. And in continuation to what Shulamit said, I would like to say, after October 7th, everybody should try the best to make the world a better world. We believe one of the way to make our world as a better world is to read more and more, that the next generation gonna read more and more about history, science, love stories, Judaic study, to be focused and busy reading, gonna make the world much better world that we had in October 7th.
Amen. I mean, I very much agree with you, which is why I wanted you to come on this program and talk about this. And so as we end, is there anything that you would like particularly to say that you haven't yet had the opportunity to do so?
Okay, so October 7th was a day that show all of us where is the light and where is the evil. And every human being on the planet, our expectation that we'll take that day, October 7th, and we'll make the effort to finish with the evils. I'm not going to go, which way, but each human being on the planet should think about what happened October 7th. We pay a big price. We lost our lovely son, our youngest son, that we miss him so much. But if because of Ori's heroism and his friend that fight against the evils, if because of them we're going to have a better world, we will have a better feeling about that loss.
Every person should do something a little better than what they did before. Maybe we should just be a little better. Every person takes something little, something for himself, and be better, so everyone will do good things for the other people.
I think that's a lovely sentiment and a sentiment that should be carried out by all of us. So may your son's memory be for a blessing, as may all the other fallen be for a blessing. And as I've been unfortunately having to end every one of these programs, now it's day 151, I say, bring them home.